You're not kidding.
When I
When do we vote?
and then what they were buying a book.
You ready? Call the special meeting of Monday, December 30th, of City Council to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Anderson, Boone,
Here.
Kane,
Here.
Deline,
Here.
Doden,
Present.
Shaw,
Here.
and Sviggin. Here.
Okay, any changes to the agenda? If not, I have a motion to accept.
Sviggin, so moved.
Shot second. Motion is made and seconded to adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No visitors to be heard tonight, so we will move to the department head report. Elaine Johnson for the 2019 financial.
So at each place setting, I printed off the November financials, and it is also in your council packet. Teresa reviewed them and helped me out with some formulas. I think everything's just coming right along. Anyone have any questions about them?
18.
We need more time to review, or entertain a motion to accept the 2019 November 2019 financial report.
Dawn moves to accept the November 2019 financial report.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the November 2019 financial report. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the old business, part-time employee wages for the 2020 year. Steve, do you want to give a little?
Well, after extensive discussion and texting session, jump in there, Troy. I think the discussion really centered on when we finally figured out that everybody now is aware that we have a scale. Really, I think the feeling was that we need to stay on scale, stay with it. There will be a natural increase of
9 cents.
9.20. It'll go from 9.10 to 9.30 for the minimum.
okay, 20 cents, yeah.
For the minimum wage.
For the minimum wage, yeah, so, bottom line would be 9.20 then, to start this
9:30.
Yeah.
20 cent extra, okay, 9.10 to 9.30, yeah, correct.
So with that, I just got a question for you, like on our general, our grounds maintenance, 960, we're gonna hit that here in 2 years. What are we gonna do? Because that's the second level. So I mean, are we gonna do incremental increases all the way up, or?
My feeling is we should take the whole scale at 20 cents. Stick with the interval with the minimum wage increase. Otherwise, I was unaware of the scale, so when we got going on the discussion, I had to get put on the right path. That was something you guys approved or put into motion last year. So, you look at why you set the scales and where they're at, and the value of employees with 1 year of experience versus the value of employee with no experience. I don't think that is, I think that increase in value for that employee remains the same. And so if we're bumping that value up for the employee with no experience, that increase in value remains the same. So I think that the interval needs to remain the same. That's my suggestion, is the whole scale goes up by the 20 cents. Each interval. Because like you just said, in a couple of years, minimum wage is going to be the second year, equal to the second year pay level. So we want to take that increase all at one shot, in a couple of years from now and take everything up by 70 cents? Or do we want to stick and take it piece by piece as the Fed takes the minimum up? That's my recommendation. The committee, I was, per our text in our committee group, I was the only one that felt that.
No, I just didn't answer.
Oh,
I still think there's some real value to that. I don't disagree. I'm just not sure how that affects everything in the long run. But when you say, do we do 70 cents a couple years down the road, or do we stay with the incremental amount? So,
well,
I can see that. I can see that.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't either, but one of my thoughts were that when we sat down 1 year ago as a committee and discussed this and went from the state of South Dakota wages charts that Mayor Nathan brought to us, some of the positions received a 5% increase. So I guess my thought is for the following year of 2020, I think we maintain the schedule that we have currently, and the only change would be the minimum wage going to the 9.30, and then in the following year, yeah, we need to keep our employees there, the part-timers as well. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't raise it in for the 2021 year, but that's kind of the way I was looking at it. And that's why I was one of them that said that I thought we should just stay with the minimum increase for the minimum wage.
Is there any way to figure out how many hours we pay in part-time per year and what 20 cents across the board would cost?
Yeah, we had the.
Just out of curiosity.
no, I don't make them.
Yeah, I didn't bring them either, or I didn't bring them with.
I can find it here in Jeff.
We'll find it, Jeff.
Is it on it's on the spreadsheet, total hours worked?
So,
No, I don't think it is.
Gerald, so you're saying we'll raise the minimum wage, but anybody at other years of service are gonna stay where they're at?
Currently, yes.
Which I suppose every year, until you hit 4 years.
Right, it maxes out at 4 years. So they're all gonna get an increase after, right? Isn't that how that's turned out?
Yeah, you just got 20 cents on each one of them.
Yeah, but
But if somebody went from 1 year to
97,
2 years, this year they
44,
would have gotten
11,
57 cents.
yeah, so this is the beginning. This is 1 year. They're gonna get a 2 year, they're automatically gonna go to that. It's not like we're skipping 2 years. So if you've got between 12 months and 24 months, you're gonna automatically go to the next scale anyway, until you get to the 4-year plateau, and then that's where it plateaus out.
But that's a range, and not everybody's at the top of the range. Remember?
Oh,
that was
I
part
know.
of our discussion. That's the top end of the range.
Right.
So there might be somebody in their second year that's already getting 9.30, and now that new employee is going to start off at 9.30. That's why I think the whole range should go up.
But I'll use my daughter as an example. She was at the pool at 9:10. I asked her if she was gonna apply again. I said, you'll get a 20-cent raise. So the people that start, this will be her 3rd season then. So
Well,
the
what if
people
it's
that
her-
would start,
If it's her 3rd, she would get a 3rd year.
no, because we didn't do that this year. This is not the pool.
Oh, they don't.
This doesn't even include the pool part-time. That's summer help.
But I kind of understand what Troy's saying here a little bit too. If you pick any of the groups, and let's say you've been on board 24 months, and you're going to have to wait another year before you get any kind of pay increase, just because you're in that range and you have, maybe you've been there for a while. I can see both sides, I guess. I look at the letter we got on our agenda. I got 30 years and we're paying $12.72 an hour. It's not right, but when we've got a scale, then we really have to stay within it.
Troy, have you now seen the scale? And so
Yeah,
are we thinking, because there's also, to me, two extremes here. We've got ground maintenance, that's minimum wage and working their way up from there. And then we have snowplow operators and equipment operators that are already starting at $15 an hour. There's a big gap there. I mean, do we still give them 20 cents and increase all of those, or do we leave that and only those ranges that start at minimum wage get that 20 cents?
Then we're right back to where we were though. I mean, we're negotiating with individuals
Right.
basically.
I guess, I don't know, go back to, I just had a note here that those above the wage scale stay there until 1 year later. So was the thought when this was made that they would all just wait until their annual and then they would get their increase?
Their anniversary or the first of the year? Because right now it's the first of the year.
And I have a note here too that January 1st is anniversary for everyone.
Right, that's the way it is right now. And there was a discussion about, not so much amongst the committee, but Elaine was asking if we would consider changing it to their anniversary date when they started working as a part-time employee. And we didn't even discuss that as a committee.
I guess I'm gonna go back to Troy's suggestion, because if we don't do a 20 cents across, we're gonna run into issues in a year or two.
I think if we did any kind of increase, this is my opinion, if we did any kind of increase, maybe we go to the 4-year, the plateau one.
Oh, and increase
And
that
only
one.
increase that one and not all the chart, just so the person that's been there for 10 years, that's done something part-time for 10 years, okay, we could do something like that.
So in 3 years, when the minimum wage is $9.70, which is more than our 2-year, then what do we do?
Well, then we can revisit the whole chart.
I don't necessarily agree. If we don't stay steady with it, we're gonna run into problems, I think. You know, if we try to do just that top end gut person. I can't foresee it, but it just, something tells me we'll run into trouble.
But I'm throwing all these different scenarios here, but if I'm stuck on this grounds maintenance. So if guy, now it's his 2nd year, he got a 57-cent raise. Now all of a sudden we're giving him a 20-cent raise. We give that guy a 77-cent raise this year.
Right,
So now I see.
That's what I'm saying, is that we leave the,
but you gotta think in another layer, another dimension here. I mean, they're saying that the whole scale needs to go up, so you can't look at it that he's getting 77 cents, he's just getting 57 cents more than the new employee, still.
yeah, but what did you get paid minimum wage? What did you
Because
start?
the range is, the minimum's going up because they say the cost of living is going up.
But I don't know if that's a good debate, because when I was in high school and whatever was looking for part-time, it was like $6.65 an hour. Well,
It was less than that.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know that that's
But all
a
things
good
are relative.
debate.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, you can't say that, cause it's what, $15 an hour in California now.
right, so,
So,
I just think if we're gonna do anything other than just the minimum, we have to do it for the whole scale. That's my personal belief, so I guess I go along with Troy.
you know, would the compromise be to raise everything 20 cents, but don't move them up on their anniversary date and not everybody at once on January 1st? So they get their 20-cent increase on January 1st, but they don't get their interval increase until their anniversary date. They got their first full year, their 2nd year, their 3rd year, not just, because if they started in July or they started in January, right now they're all gonna get the increase on this at the same time.
Right.
She's the one that wants to do it.
The finance
That's
office.
gonna be confusing though on their anniversary date, because then you're gonna have to back off the 20 cents that they got January 1st from what their new rate is. I think you gotta say it's either all on January 1st or all on their anniversary date, please.
Do we wanna just have a committee meeting, come back at the next council meeting and make a recommendation, or does this need to be decided before the end of the year?
No, it
Minimum
doesn't.
wage regardless will go up.
I say put it in a motion, Troy, and see where we're at.
Well, we we just don't really have a united committee. So we haven't really met and discussed it as a committee. We just texted about it a couple days ago. So maybe
Pretty
we
good
should-
discussion.
Maybe we should have a committee meeting and hammer it out. We could get the answer to your question, how many hours do we pay part-timers in that, on an annual basis? We would know how many dollars we're talking about, because we've already approved the budget for next year. Now we're gonna increase wages by 20 cents. So we can consider that at the same time, and maybe we can make a 2-year plan on this for 2020 and 2021. So we have something to budget for come August and July. We're budgeting for 2021.
We can table it, because it doesn't.
Steve, you okay waiting, or
Yeah, I don't know that we're gonna go in a different direction.
council meetings next Monday? So we would have to meet sometime this week.
So you would just have to backdate to January 1st for a few employees.
If we change every scale. Minimum's going up no matter what.
I guess we could come up with a few more scenarios of how it would impact various situations. That would help me out.
So we,
Thursday night is the only time I could meet.
Thursday night,
Steve?
I can meet Thursday.
All right,
Thursday before supper, or
after. I gotta go up to the,
Table that then?
All right, so we're gonna
business anyway.
We're gonna table the whole business of part-time employees' wages for 2020. Moving to new business, pay request number 3 for the water tower coating project.
You guys should have all the next few things, and then we're gonna talk about it in fact, but, we had 2 pay requests. We were waiting on pay request number 3 for signatures from the, engineers, which we do have, and then pay request 4 came in while that one was being reviewed. So we have the final also, but we'd like to go ahead and pay each of those. With motion on the first pay request number 3 to pay the $17,100 per the contract.
Shall make a motion to pay request number 3 water tower coating project as Jerry said and stated $17,100.
So I second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pay the request number 3 for the water tower coating project in the amount of $17,100. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is pay request number 4 for the water tower coating project.
Jeff's here. Jeff, do you have anything to add on that? Everything's up working as it should be. Electrical's all done.
Yeah.
So we don't have no issues as far as holding anything back at this time.
No,
Okay.
he did make a comment about coming, and I didn't ask him about it, but he said he'd be coming back probably next year to smooth out the ruts that they had in the grass. So, that's,
Small item.
yeah. Otherwise, everything looks like it's done. Everything's wired up.
generator's
73,000.
Yeah.
73,549.
So this be a final payment, Jerry?
That is.
So I move to approve a final payment of $73,549 for the water tower project payment number 4.
Keith second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the request of number 4 payment, final payment for the water tower coating project in the amount of $73,549. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next item is the Beresford Senior Citizens 2019 Subsidy Drawdown Request.
We, Elaine and made a few calls to get those guys down here. I don't know if they didn't realize they hadn't applied or who was supposed to do it, but we made some calls and you guys have the information in front of you as far as their current financials and everything. So we do have both of those in at this time. So the first one you need to act on, if you want to approve, is the Senior Citizens request for $3,000.
So I can make a motion to pay subsidy drawdown of $3,000 for Beresford Senior Citizens.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the subsidy drawdown for the 2019 Beresford Senior Citizen Center request in the amount of $3,000. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next item is the Beresford Faith in Action 2019 subsidy drawdown request in the amount of
$5,600. They do use part of that to help with delinquent utility bills also. I'll be seeing some of those paybacks here soon, I'm thinking.
Shall I make a motion for Beresford Faith in Action 2019 subsidy drawdown for $5,600?
Second.
motion's been made and seconded for the subsidy drawdown request for the 2019 the Beresford Faith in Action in the amount of $5,600. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next item is the full-time hire for the police department. I see Mike is here.
Present. You ready for me?
I'm ready for you.
Who I'm going to recommend is Lauren Miller. He's been certified since 2010. He's worked for the state of South Dakota for 15 years, a couple years with the Highway Patrol. Right now he's in the Motor Carrier Division down at Elk Point, Port of Entry. He's got a vested interest in this community. Both of his kids go to school here. He's worked part-time for us for 9 years. He knows the role. He knows how to do it. That's basically all I know.
The wage you're looking at,
$20.64 an hour.
which is, that's off the new scale, because we start next year, and that's 95% of the scale.
So I can make a motion to hire Lauren Miller at $20.64 an hour.
Shot second.
Motion has been made and seconded for the full-time hire of Lauren Miller for the police department. Starting wage, $20.64 per hour. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Resolution 2019-14, automatic supplement appropriation.
Several months ago, even longer than that, you guys surplus to a couple fire trucks, a 2004 Chevy Tahoe and a 1997 one-ton dually. They were property of they were licensed in the city of Beresford name, purchased by the Beresford Volunteer Fire Department out of their own funds. So we've got the check for that, so we just want to go ahead and pay that back to the fire department in the amount of $9,450. So we can do that with an automatic supplement because it was money that we weren't expecting to come in.
Vote moves to approve resolution 2019-14 automatic supplement appropriation for the surplus vehicles back to the fire department.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the resolution 2019-14 for the amount of $9,450 to be appropriated back to the fire department for surplus. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the resolution 2019-15 contingency fund transfers.
Just the two of them there. We have a fire department went over by about a little less than $2,300. So we'd like to move $2,300 into machinery and vehicle repairs. That was where we probably ran over the most in that department. And the swimming pool, we would like to add $2,500 to that. We had an issue with some water valve issue there for a while where we were running water and pumping it basically into the street until it was caught. So that's why we ran over there. And we'd like to supplement both of those as they both are going to be over if we don't do such. So that should be all the contingency funds transfers we have for the year.
So I can make a motion to approve resolution 2019-15 contingency fund.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2019-15 contingency fund transfers to the fire department budget of $2,300.
Art made one correction real quick.
Sorry.
My addition was wrong. It's $4,800. So good IR. Instead of $5,800 from contingency, it's $4,800. 2, 4, 8, yeah, $4,800.
So what changes?
The total amount of the contingency
Oh, the
fund is
total.
4,800. I had a 5 in there. I had the wrong.
So it's 48.
4,800, yeah.
All right.
Good eye on our.
It's all right. Teamwork.
All right.
I appreciate it.
And 2,500 for the swimming pool. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Next item is the 2019 year-end transfer to general fund.
Just, Elaine and I sat down with Teresa a little bit after we got you can take a look at the draft financials here, nothing finalized yet there on that, but we feel comfortable with the amount of money that was budgeted in the general fund that's coming in at a pretty good, we've only had a couple issues there. So we're looking at a positive there, along with some revenue increase, especially on the sales tax, so we're not gonna have to take as much from our transfers as what we thought. So we would like to take 330 from the telephone, from the electric, and 10,000 from the solid waste, and that'll give us 670,000, which is down from, I believe it was 830, is that way we had budgeted, right? So that's good. I think we had a pretty good year overall. I think the guys did a pretty good job controlling their spending, and we're still waiting on some FEMA issues with the streets and things like that, and that hopefully will happen in next year. And also in the electric department, we're anticipating getting some funds back there too, so that'll help us with next year's budget also. Yeah, we'd like to have a motion to do those transfers. So.
Shall I make a motion for the 2019 year-end transfer to general fund, as Jerry Simon stated, $670,000 to transfer to the general fund.
Motion's been made and seconded for the 2019 year-end transfer to general fund in the total amount of $670,000. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And next item is the 2019 year-end transfer to the South Dakota Fit.
In the summary there, we're going to transfer 75 to the street department equipment fund. Library is putting more money aside for carpet and air conditioners, which we've been trying to do a little bit every year. And fire department's payment number 5 on the funds pay back the ladder truck, still leaving a balance of 42.5. I was talking to Todd a little bit this morning too. He's got some, we've got a positive cash flow over there, so we're looking at possibly doing a transfer from him too. We've got a few things we want to talk to you guys about at the next meeting as far as where we're at, as far as a couple other funds, primarily the golf course, and how we're going to deal with that this year. Or if we didn't make any money again, but we need to kind of wonder who's going to take. I guess Todd's concerned about who is going to be borrowing the money to the golf course in order to bring that to a zero balance. So we're not quite ready to do that yet. We still have some time to do it, but we'd like to do these transfers now, and then we'll talk about what we can do with the rest of it.
So we had 75,000 from the street.
Yep.
And what was the other ones?
Oh, I'm sorry. Right there.
50 for the library.
75 streets, 50 for the library, and 30 for the fire department.
That's a total of. Okay. All right.
Jerry, I have one, and thank you for the comments on the telephone. We can discuss that at a later meeting.
Yep.
But did we, and I'm not sure if this is where we do it, but did we not have some in South Dakota Fit that was reserved for the water tower project? I just noticed that the water tower project, is really taking
We're
a
going
lot.
to do that at the next. We can do that at the next.
At the next
Yeah.
meeting as well.
We're going to
Okay.
look at those. This is, I was mainly concerned about the general fund, getting those all straightened out. So when we take a look at that one, we'll look at Todd and also electric too, to see exactly where we're at on those.
If we need to take it
Yep.
out of Fit
Yep.
as well.
Absolutely.
Also.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Is there a motion on the table for the transfer to the South Dakota Fit?
He makes a motion to do or transfer to Fit. I don't have the number.
155.
155,000.
Yeah, 155 total.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the 2019 year-end transfer to South Dakota Fit in the total amount of $155,000. Any more discussion?
As far as regards to the budgeted transfer to reserves from the phone company, I think we can do some of that now, can't we? And do another transfer later after the December budget or book is closed on 2019. We'll know exactly where we're at. Can we transfer now? I mean, does it need to be done this year if we're going to be transferring money? I mean, we can't be backdating stuff a month.
In our enterprise accounts, we'll be okay.
We don't have to follow different rules on
We
enterprise
don't
versus,
have the same budgeting requirements because they're not tax supported dollars.
but we know that he's got a surplus there, so why not just go ahead and do it?
The question is, how are you gonna cover the,
Well, I think we should find revenue for that from some other,
you got one other source, and that'll be through the electric
Well,
department, so.
I know,
So,
so.
I think it's a discussion item you guys could.
It's a bigger issue.
Yeah.
We gotta quit pilfering the electric and the phone company and let them put money away for future infrastructure and physical build outs, and like this fiber project, borrowing money to do the fiber project when we've been transferring money to the general fund forever in great amounts just to balance it. Instead of making the tough decisions to balance the general fund, we're just band-aiding it with robbing Peter to pay Paul every year. And, well, Peter wants to be paid back.
He's got a question.
In terms of this fiber project, we're gonna have to borrow money to do it, and we shouldn't have to. So we need to be disciplined in following our budgeted transfers. I think we start now, and we just do it.
Randy's got one question. How far are we off on the numbers that we can't do something tonight? You know, Lane? I mean, the
Well,
roundabout.
we're transferring out 330, and he has a net flow right now of 490, so that's $160,000 in net cash flow sitting over there. So why can't we do 150 now? Correct it later a little bit if we have to.
I just don't know. I guess my question on that is I'm not sure how, if we approve it next meeting to be a 2019 transfer, yes, we can backdate in our system, but that's not gonna agree to the bank. The banks can't backdate and give us interest for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months if we hold off on our transfer. And if we know we have this cash or this surplus of revenue and we've budgeted, I do agree with Troy that we should transfer it if we can. It's not like we can't transfer it back if we decide we need to. But, on the golf course side, we also have the same issue on the water fund. They're enterprise funds, correct me if I'm wrong, but an enterprise fund can have a loss, but an enterprise fund cannot have a negative cash balance. So, water fund's got $293,000 negative balance. They don't have that much in South Dakota Fit. They've only got $270,000. So somebody else is going to have to loan money to the water department this year to cover their negative cash balance. Golf course has a negative $162,000. Somebody's going to have to loan money to them to cover their cash shortage. But yeah, we have 550 in electric, and we have 583 in the telephone, and 750 in our general fund. So overall, we have 1.6 million in the bank, and that's not going to change with the transfers to general fund. It's just going to go from our enterprise funds into our general fund checking account. That cash balance will not change. It's just a transfer between.
So the cash balance in the general fund,
Before transfers is $750,000.
is there a magic number we need there to maintain a positive cash flow? Well, revenues and expenditures.
You know approximately what a monthly
What's
expenses
our
are out of there?
Very
You got about a $2 million general fund budget, so divided by 12, but I mean, we got peaks and valleys, so.
Right.
So,
2.1 million.
so there's a couple $100,000 in department shortfalls that need to be supplemented somewhere else. We don't have the money in the general fund just to do that and maintain our discipline and make the transfers that we budgeted. And just balance, the checking account balance, the general fund just goes down a little bit.
would it be a good idea to do, like Troy said tonight, or would it be maybe a better idea to have a meeting for the finance department and then next meeting come up with the exact figure that we need?
So if we transfer that, Troy, we're not earmarking it from the telephone department, are we earmarking it for the fiber project? Because once it's
Well,
earmarked, then you can't.
It goes into the telephone's fit balance.
Right, so we're just putting it in the fit balance.
Yep, that's where it was budgeted to go.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't earmarking it for the.
I mean, the phone company did a great job of maintaining expenses this year. I mean, they covered $200,000, almost $200,000 with engineering fees for the fiber project without exceeding their budget.
And we had them reduce our internet fees,
Right.
revamp that whole program, and they still came out ahead.
So you're saying 150, you wanna transfer over?
That's what I'd like to do, yes. I make a motion to amend the motion to include $150,000 from the transfer from the phone company to SD Fit.
I just got one question for that.
There's a motion on the table.
Oh, there's a motion, we gotta have a second.
Wait a second.
Okay, now I can ask a question. Okay, do we need 24-hour notice before you modify or amend any motion on the agenda before we vote on it?
Well, there's transfers on the agenda.
So it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's a modification.
Okay.
I mean, the idea of transfers to reserves or fit is an agenda item.
Oh, okay.
So,
That was it. All right, thank you.
All right, so we have an amended motion to transfer $150,000 from the telephone department into the South Dakota Fit.
I guess I have maybe a comment more than a question, but I get it, and I get what we're doing, and I understand it, and I think everybody does, but I don't necessarily want to wing a $150,000 transfer too if Jerry's not comfortable doing it, if we can wait another week until the next meeting, if that's when we're gonna go over all these anyway.
My point is, it was a budgeted transfer of 200, but there's not enough left in his account to do that. So we're already proposing to transfer less than what was budgeted. I don't see what the issue is. The profit was there from the phone company to do it. So we should follow through with our intentions.
Is there anything else that would be coming from the phone company that we are unaware of at this point that we're gonna need to know about?
In the next
Not
2
this
years.
year.
Or 2 years.
We're not paying bills now this year, so.
I mean, I guess if Jerry's comfortable doing it too, it's a week, I mean,
I mean, we can always move it back, guys, it's not, I mean, if we determine that we're not gonna have enough from another one of our enterprise funds to cover what we have to cover out in the golf course, what we have to cover with the water tower project, we'll have to look at those, so.
I guess I'd like to keep going with the motion. This is my suggestion. And I know Elaine and I have so much time on our hands in the next few weeks, but I think the finance committee should get together and discuss who's gonna borrow what after, because once we transfer from FIT, we still have to supplement the water department. We've gotta supplement the cash from the golf course. So I guess I would suggest that our finance committee gets together with Elaine and Jerry and come to council with a plan. And I'm not saying by next Monday, I'm saying maybe by the following, because we'll have hopefully final December financials at the January 21st meeting. So maybe by that meeting, we can then also have a plan on which departments are going to supplement the others.
I guess that's kind of what I was getting at is
Because I think
probably figure out how we're gonna do it instead of just winging it.
I think we can still do the 150. That does not make me uncomfortable at all. The cash is there. It's not like we're gonna run a risk of overdrawing our checking account by transferring 150,000 to FIT. So.
Alright, so the amended motion is first to vote on,
On the
so
amendment,
the,
on Troy's motion to
Right.
amend, yeah.
the amended motion for $150,000 from the telephone department, transfer to the South Dakota Fit. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The amended motion carries, and now we have a motion on the original 2019 year-end transfer to South Dakota Fit, and that total was $155,000, $75,000 into the street department, $50,000 into the library, and $30,000 to the fire department.
And now includes 150 for the telephone.
Right, we've already proved that.
But that's just to amend the original motion. So now the original motion has been amended.
Right.
So now we'd be voting on the amended motion, which includes the extra 150 from the phone company.
Should be 300.
So it'd be 305 instead of 155,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
The minutes will accurately reflect that.
Perfect. Thanks.
I think it's 2 cups of chocolate chip.
All right, any discussion and information items to be brought forward tonight?
Just a reminder, the Christmas party, Friday night, 6 o'clock is the happy hour social and 7 is the meal.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to the payment of bills.
Jordan moves, we pay the bills.
Dean second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the payment of the bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Jordan second.
We are all in favor to adjourn?
Hey.
You're adjourned.
Elaine.
Mike, are you on duty on
I'm late
Friday?
the next couple of days.
Friday night?
I'll be out at 2 in the afternoon. In the afternoon.
We were just thinking we needed an Uber driver.
If you guys got extra keys to the patrol car, then.
No, we wanted you to Uber us home.
That's why they got a 14-year-old son.
I have nobody.
Well, Devin could probably drive.
I prefer
So,
Sit in.
This Thursday.
we're going out west.
I got it.
I gotta
You got me
check.
covered. Troy's got me covered.
Sydney
You
can
pick me
drive.
up then, so I don't have to worry about